Yes, I invite you once again. Today, I want to discuss something very little this hour, and I want to about how to stick with good habits every day. Last time I was talking about the secret to self-control, and I want to just dig a little bit deeper from that subject and talk about how to stick with good habits every day. You know, it's our heart desire to stick to something very good, something that will bring some positive indication and reflection in your own life. And the good thing with sticking to good habits every day is that making progress is satisfying, and visual measures provide clear evidence of your progress. What are these visual measures? Visual measures, they come in many forms. For instance, there are people maybe who are trying to lose weight. They may form some food journals, workout logs for people who are trying to lose weight. There are people who may have a schedule or a food journal for maybe recording the number of calories maybe they consume. All that, they are visual measures. Maybe somebody who like reading, they may take or record the number of pages of the books that they have read. All those are all visual measures. The best way to measure your progress is the following ways. I want to discuss just 3 things. The best way to measure your progress when you are sticking to good habits. Number 1, we call it habit tracking. Habit tracking is just a simple way to measure how, or you measure whether you did a habit or not. And the most basic format is to get a calendar. Maybe you are trying to track your certain behavior or a habit, maybe some workout, maybe reading. You know, there are all those things that you decide every morning. There is that follow-up that you have in your mind, that you want to follow this trend. There is this thing that is in your mind that you have decided inside of you that you are going to do. So what you do, there are some people who record their daily routines on a calendar. If you have met all those protocols that you decided to do, there are those people who mark on a calendar, maybe with an X. So it is the most basic format to get a calendar and cross off each day you stick with your routine. And countless people have tracked their habits, and the goal is to never break the chain. Every day, not focusing on how inspired you feel, but simply focused on showing up. The good thing is not whether you are inspired to do that thing that you are trying to do, or maybe captivating yourself to this new habit or this new behavior. The best thing is to never break the chain, because the moment you break the chain, you mess everything. So you don't have to feel inspired to do that thing. You don't have to feel good about it, but you simply stay focused and showing up on that habit that you are trying. If you have decided you are going to work out every day, maybe doing 5 press ups, maybe running for a certain distance. Sometimes you may not feel like doing it, but the best thing is not to break the chain. You keep on showing up in that habit, whether you feel like doing it or not. Countless people, as I have said, they have tracked their habits with recording on a calendar, ticking on a calendar. The moment you fulfill all the routines that you have decided in your mind that you are going to do, you mark on a calendar day by day, from Monday to Friday, to Saturday. Habit tracking is powerful because it leverages multiple laws of behavior change. It simultaneously makes a behavior obvious. It makes them attractive. It makes them satisfying. You make your routine obvious that you never miss. You make it attractive, not like something to haunt you. No, you make it attractive. You make it satisfying that if I do this or that, if I do this or that in my habit development or my behavior development, I make it obvious and I make it attractive. Not just it's like a weight on me. No, 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 no. At least I get some inspiration. At least of the thing that I have decided to do, at least it is satisfying. And research has shown that those who track their progress on goals like losing weight, quitting smoking, and lowering blood pressure are most likely to improve than those who don't. Because you just say in yourself that I will try to follow it up. But the moment you miss the first day, and I'm not saying that you have to be perfect to do it one day, the other day. No, sometimes there are some, maybe you may be busy for a certain day and not able to track your behavior, to track your habit that you want to develop. But the moment you can miss twice, once, but missing twice, I want you to know that it is a beginning of another habit. Do you get what I'm saying? The good thing with habit tracking, it keeps you honest, because most of us have a distorted view of our own behavior. You become honest of who you are. It is one thing to lie somebody else, and it is another thing to lie your own self. You can never lie to yourself. So the good thing with habit tracking is that you become honest of who you are, because we have a distorted view of our own self. Sometimes when we make a mistake, sometimes we don't realize, because you have made that thing subconsciously. You don't know. Unconsciously, maybe you are not aware of that thing that you have done. So when you have a habit tracking, you are honest to who you are, and each small win feels or makes feeds your desire. The moment you make a small win, you feel good. The moment that you have decided, I'm going to work out today, even if you run for just 500 meters, you may not have achieved what you wanted, but at least it motivates you to keep on moving. It helps keep your eye on the ball. You are focused on the process rather than the results. You are not focusing on maybe on that goal in its specificity. You are focusing on that time that you are. You are not focused on the results, because when you focus on the results, maybe you want to lose weight from 100 kg to 70. If every day you are on the scale, you may get discouraged. You may get discouraged. If you are reading and you look at the size of the book, you may feel demotivated. But if you look on the one page, in fact, you should be focusing on becoming the best person or a disciplined person in that habit that you are trying to start. Number two, I want to talk about is you choose the right field of competition. It's the secret to maximize your odds of success. You maximize your odds of it's the secret to maximize your odds of success. What goes in your favor? This is just as true with habit change as it is with sports and business. Somebody may think maybe to choose the right field of competition, it's only in business and in sports. But even in habit change, it is very, very, very necessary. Habits are easier to perform and more satisfying to stick with when they align with your natural inclinations and abilities. Because when they align with your natural inclinations and abilities, You don't struggle too much because you are finding, who am I? What am I best in doing? Because the moment you understand what favors you, there are questions that you should ask yourself. Like, for instance, there are some things that you don't struggle to do, even if they are hard to do them, but when it comes to you, it seems like a joyous task. You don't suffer much, or you do it with the kind of easiness. So it is very important to stick with what aligns with your natural inclinations and abilities. And embracing this strategy requires the acceptance of truth that people are born with different abilities. Because the moment you don't realize that, you will try to compete with other people. You will try to look, maybe your friend may be doing the same. Maybe I'm in sports, and though I'm a goalkeeper, I may not have the same abilities like the other person or like the competitor. So you have to realize that I'm having different abilities, and so though I'm inclining to my natural abilities, my ability may be different from the other person. And when our environment changes, so do the qualities that determine success. And I want you to know that competence is highly dependent on context. Competence is highly dependent on context. For example, I'm doing online counseling, I'm doing online talking, and I find it comfortable because I find my natural inclination and abilities are there. There is somebody else who may be good at another thing. There is somebody else who is good in cooking. There is somebody else who is good in playing football. So the competence is highly dependent on context. What context are you good at? What area or what environment are you good at? Because the people at the top of any competitive field are not only well trained, those people that you see competent in some certain field, not just the training that they are having, they are also suited for the task. And this is why, if you want to be truly great, selecting the right place to focus is crucial. So the key to direct your effort towards areas that both excite you, underline the word excite you, and match your natural skills to align your ambitions with your ability. Your ambitions and your ability. What moves you? What motivates you? What attracts you towards a certain habit? What pulls you towards that direction? And the obvious question is, most of the people I hear them asking, how do I figure out when the odds are in my favor? If you are talking about natural inclinations and my ability, when do I know when the odds are in my favor? The first place for an answer is understanding your personality, because we are born with different personalities. And personalities, when they are bundled together, your unique cluster of genetic traits, we are all born with some genes inside of us. And science have proved that there is a great participatory of our genes in our personality, in the way we act. Personality, there are people who display different kinds of personality. There are extroverts, there are introverts. There are people, the way maybe you respond to a certain situation is not the way I may respond to the same situation. There are people who respond to threats. There are people who are just cowards by nature. There are people who are just happy by nature. There are people who are serious by nature. All this is bundled together in what we call personality. Your unique cluster of genetic traits predispose you to a particular personality. It predisposes you. It throws you into a certain personality. Your genes sometimes throws you to a certain personality. Your personality is a set of characteristics that is consistent from situation to situation. You are consistent in this thing. When you are fearful, whether you are in what environment, you are just scared. You are just consistent about that. And our habits are solely determined by our personalities. But there is no doubt that our genes moves us in a certain direction, as I have told you. Our deeply rooted preferences make certain behaviors easier for some people than for others. You don't have to apologize for such differences. You don't have to apologize. You may say, maybe because I have this certain kind of behavior, it is because of my personality. You don't have to apologize for that or feel guilty for that. You know, you don't have to feel bad about such kind of genes. You don't have to. But what you are supposed to do, you have to work with them. You work with them. And the takeaway is that you should build habits that work for your personality. You choose the habits that best suits you, not the ones that are most popular, because most of the times we like moving with the majority, not choosing the personality that are just popular with other people. There is a version of every habit that can bring you joy and satisfaction. There is a personality in you that if you just align directly with that personality, it can bring you satisfaction and it can bring you joy. And that's why you need to understand what are my personalities? What am I good at? What drives me? What motivates me? Because there must be some abilities. The disadvantages comes when we don't understand our own personality. It will always act on your disadvantage whenever you don't understand what are your personality. Because the genes and your personality, there is in a kind of way that if you use them, they can direct you to a certain kind of satisfaction and joy. So when you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. You can win by being different. You are not better, but you can become different. I remember when I was in secondary school and I just designed my major subjects and I chose biology, I chose physics, I chose chemistry, mathematics, and business. I just focused on those four major subjects. Not that I threw the other ones, no, but I just majored with those four subjects and I became different. At least there was nobody else who was doing the same, but I chose to major with them and I did the others on average. So by combining your skills, you reduce the level of competition, which makes it easier to stand out. I combined my skills in physics, in chemistry, in mathematics, and in business because I found myself that these subjects are easy for me. I don't struggle to read them. I just enjoy some of them to read them. And the others, which I was struggling, I decided to set a time for them. So when you combine your skills of what you are good at, you reduce the level of competition, which makes it easier for you to stand out. So specialization is a it's a powerful way to overcome the accident of bad genetics. The moment you specialized, like the way I decided to specialize on these four subjects, even if I had bad genetics with the other subjects, at least they boosted me. They tried to lift the other subjects that I was trying to work on average. I struggled to read them, but I found satisfaction and joy in reading these 4 subjects. So the moment you specialize, it becomes a powerful way to overcome the accident of bad genetics. You know, when you boiling water, a boiling water can soften a potato, and the same boiling water can harden an egg. So you can't control whether you are a potato or you are an egg, but you can decide to play a game where it's better to be a potato or to be an egg, where you are hard and where you are soft. It can be where you are hard. It is what aligns you with your personality, and where the same you, where you are soft, it's the same place that aligns you with your personality. So you have to know, am I good in this area? Am I good in the other area? The other one I want to talk about is how to get the most out of your genes. If I've talked about your genes most contributes to your personality, it most contributes to your behaviors. For example, there were some scientists who are researching, and they were saying that when a child is born in the hospital, they make a loud noise. There are some kids who respond by looking towards the direction of the noise, and there are some others who look on the other side. They don't face directly to the direction of the noise. And if those kids or those babies were traced in their life, those who faced away, they said that in their life they become introverts, and those who faced towards the direction of the noise, they became extroverts. So you see, something called genes contributes to most of our habits, most of the time, but you cannot eliminate them. And just because, there are people, they are just good at something without even sweating, without making a lot of no efforts. It just happen arbitrarily. They don't struggle in doing what they do, and they may also be bad in another thing, what you are good at, because their genes are favoring them. But our genes do not eliminate the need for hard work. I want you to get that. They don't eliminate the need for hard work, but they clarify it. Once we realized our strength, we know where to spend our time and energy. If you know what you are good at, you spend your strength there, and you spend your time. Even so, it's more productive to focus on whether you are fulfilling your potential than comparing yourself to somebody else. Are you trying to compare yourself to somebody else? So you are not trying to look whether you are more productive by looking what the other person is doing. No. You are comparing yourself with yourself, because you cannot have somebody's strength. You cannot have somebody's energy. So until you work as hard as those you admire, don't explain away their success as a luck. Because some of the people that we admire, they are people who have aligned their natural inclinations and their abilities and their strengths and their efforts to align with their personality. So working hard, just because you have best genes for the best routine, it does not eliminate hard work. So those are just 4 of the things I wanted to discuss with you. The habit tracking. You have to track your habit if you want to stick to that particular habit. You have to choose the right field of competition. You have to look at your personality and how to get the most out of your genes. I believe that you will get the best out of these simple strategies on how to stick to good habits. Thank you.